All right, guys. Again, just trying to join with Mark Hunt. We're talking to him today, so I'm going to have a look and see what we can do and how we can get him online. So, one more shot at this, and we should be sweet. Just bear with me, guys. All right. Here we go. Things are getting interesting now. So I'll just bear with me, guys. Talk to Mark about his book and a whole heap more. And here we are. And away. So let's just see how we go. Just waiting for Mark to connect. Internet. It's a wonderful thing. There we go.
Hey,
Did it, brother.
how you doing?
How are you, man? Happy
Good.
Sunday. Thanks for taking your time out to have a chat with me, man, and for everyone here on Insta.
Yeah, no, anytime, bro, anytime.
How's life been? How's the COVID situation and everything treating you these days?
You know what it's like. The COVID's pretty much the same. I've been chilling out for the last 20 years, so it's nothing really much has nothing really much has happened, to be honest. Just that everyone's gone and disappeared. So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
it's
how you
made
been?
it's made the fight game real interesting, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. A lot of things have changed, to be honest. But
Yeah,
yeah, how you doing?
I'm all right, man. Like I've been sitting here for a few months in a totally empty gym, and just it's been real frustrating to get things back to somewhat normal. But we're open again with the restrictions. But in Victoria, you can only have 20 people on the gym floor, and classes can only be 10. And it doesn't really suit this business model. The place is too big, so I'm just letting everyone train for free at the moment. I'm not putting on any fees. Just letting them come in and you got to book in. Because of the booking system, some people are missing out on their times and all that. So I thought, well, you know what? It's not fair to charge people. Plus, there's people are doing it hard at the moment. So I thought we'll let it roll for at least a month. Let them come and train and enjoy and get back in the swing of things, and hopefully things will improve. But Victoria's up the spout again. With all the stuff going on in Victoria, it's we're way behind the eight ball again. So we're just waiting to see what's going to happen. But yeah, I've noticed you've been doing a lot of training up there with Richard and Rob Fogarty. You're really pushing
Yeah.
yourself there, man.
Oh man, hey, I want to enjoy the rest of my career, to finish my career off, to be honest. So, I was working for with the UFC for a long time now, but
Yeah,
and that ended,
yeah,
and not good with a couple of lawsuits and all. But
yeah,
I'm quite happy now where I am, and I'm happy that I'm actually back to trying to finish my career and ending. It's been over 3 decades, to be honest, and probably over 2 decades as a pro. But it's been from the days of the Crown Casino,
yeah,
the K1. It's been a
yeah,
crazy journey. So yeah, I just wanted to finish my career happy, and when you're happy at work, you're good. I know it's been pretty hard with everyone with the COVID and stuff. A lot
yeah,
of people have lost their jobs. People are struggling these days. It's not
yeah,
good these days. Things are pretty
yeah,
hard, So
yeah. Yeah,
I
but
see what
you
you mean.
mean it looks like you're reinvigorated with your training. I see you doing the stuff with Richie and Rob and on the pads, and man, you're doing the strength and conditioning. Like I've never seen you do strength and conditioning like this. The training's next level. With Big Bam Bam, Tai Tuivasa and all that. The boys. It looks like you got a really strong core group of guys, and everyone's really enjoying their training. Is that how you're finding it?
Well, it's good, man. I've been with some of the boys for a long time. Me and Bam have been together like 6 years. I
Yeah,
mean, he works for the UFC, but despite my feelings, he still works for that with like a lot of other guys that work for the company. Um,
yeah,
on that front, it is quite good. Like I said, I have found that love and passion for fighting again.
yeah,
Um, I'm always a prize fighter, of course, because that's why I fight, because I want freedom and choices and money, of course. But
yeah,
I love what I do. I got robbed of that when I was working for the UFC for like 5 years
yeah,
out of my contract. So I just felt that nothing was going right with these guys, and why should I try and okay, put it this way, what I used to think before about being one of the elite fighters of the UFC is not the same anymore. What I used to
Yeah.
think. So I used to feel honored to be a part of this group, but as I realized as I was getting into that group, that they were just ripping the fighters off, and they still continue to rip the fighters off. So
Yeah.
I'm always speaking out about, and even before everyone started speaking about, I was speaking about them getting fair money. They're
Yeah.
only sharing a 20% of the profits, the total revenue. But and that's
Yeah.
why I'm in two lawsuits against them. One of them to bring in the Ali Act for the antitrust lawsuit. So
Yeah.
that changed a lot of things. That's a $5 billion lawsuit. These guys, the class action, these guys have been at it for like 6 years now. It's costed
Yeah.
I think the UFC a lot of money. I think 80 or something $1 million. So, but
Yeah.
once this comes in, it makes things even. So
Yeah. Yeah.
the UFC fighters get a fair shake of the total revenue. So they make about 40 or 50% of the total revenue is what they should be getting. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
uh,
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how that transpires. I mean, I remember, and this is a few years back when you did a seminar at my gym. You were really gracious to do that for me, and I really appreciated that. And for the guys watching, everyone's got an opinion. But I'll tell you something. This bloke here, Mark Hundy, come to my gym, and we've known each other for probably over 20 years now. You come to my gym. We had an arrangement to do the seminar. Remember, it's still one of the best seminars out of all the guys I've had. And I've had, GSP, I've had Anderson Silva, I've had Dolph Lundgren, I've had Steven Seagal, of course yourself. I've done seminars with a lot of people, and you really changed the way that seminars ran for me, because I remember you're standing there and you're like, I'm not going to show them how to jab cross. They do that in their gyms all day. I'm going to let them ask me what they want to see. And, that really opened up that whole seminar sort of theory where people have input to get what they want out of, athletes like yourself.
what they
And
paid for.
I've taken that into all these other seminars with all these other guys, and it works so well. And let me say this to everyone watching. Not only did Mark do that seminar, come from Sydney to Melbourne, did the seminar for me. At the end of the day, I went to hand him the money, and he handed it straight back to me, because he goes, "Man, we've worked together for so long. I don't need to make money off you for this. I appreciated, you said to me you appreciated the stuff that I've done with you over the years." And I've never forgotten that. And I'll never, I'll never can thank you enough for doing that. And that really helped me out at a time when I was trying to build my gym up. So thank you, from the bottom
No
of my
worries.
heart to everyone watching about that. But going back to what I was talking about, I got way sidetracked there. I remember we went for lunch at Sam Greco's cafe. Do you remember? And that
Yeah.
we were driving, and we were talking about this very topic, about the UFC. And you were like, "Man, the fighters got to have a union. They got to be unified. We got to get some sort of benchmark for the elite athletes." And there's a lot of fighters that fight in, like in the smaller shows in the pubs and that here. They have to realize that promoters are also challenged on the smaller promotions. It's a hard gig. But when you're talking about, multi-billion dollar,
Multi-billion.
companies and all that revenue, well, I see what you're saying about revenue shares and so forth on pay-per-views. Boxers do it. It's been around for years with the boxing and, a few other sports. So, everyone, opinions are like arseholes, as you know. Everyone's got one.
Yeah.
But you got to speak
Correct.
from an educated angle, and you're someone that's done it. You're not
Yep.
you're not a keyboard warrior. There's guys putting up comments and stuff. They're never fucking thrown a punch in their life in the ring. I'll probably the only time they'll throw punches is in the mirror in their bathroom after they have a
That's
shower.
correct. It's
So
correct.
don't start making claims, people, unless you know what you're talking about and you've been there and you've lived the life. Then that's so. I just wanted to round that out, because I look at the message boards and I see a whole heap of stuff, and it does upset me a little bit. Comments thrown in many ways, and these days, I think the fantasy of being a UFC fighter or MMA fighter, it's all about the social media likes and the ego. It's not so much about martial arts anymore, as much as I suppose it used to be back in the day. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there for what you're saying.
It's true. Totally true. And we talked about that when I saw you last,
Yeah,
and it's still happening nowadays. I mean, I got educated by joining these guys in the antitrust lawsuit, and realized, wow.
yeah,
And I was always arguing with these guys in the UFC, even when I was in their contracts. I was arguing about trying to make ends meet, and I'm thinking, Why do I feel like I'm trying to be a part of the elite group here? I'm a part of this elite group already, top 10 already,
Yeah,
but yet I still have to struggle to make ends meet. Why shouldn't these guys make this kind of money like Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua? These
yeah,
guys are the best, most complete athletes in the world,
yeah,
and
yeah,
the whole world is watching these guys compete.
yes,
Why
yeah,
aren't they getting the 40-50% of their share revenue share?
yeah, yeah. I mean, it all comes down to, I suppose, the negotiation at contract stage. But I think people are so desperate to get on the roster that they'll sell their souls pretty much,
But
really.
the thing about that is people understand now. People are speaking up about it, and it's
Yeah,
not just me though. It's these ex-champions saying, "Hey man, I want more money."
yeah,
Of course you do, because
yeah,
you're not getting what you're supposed to be sharing. If you guys are sharing a 20% of the total revenue, that's not the proper share for you guys. Although the UFC fighters make 10% of the UFC roster,
yeah,
they're only sharing 20% of the actual the market from the whole company what they're getting the revenue.
yeah,
But whereas the gridiron players, they make about 50, or the basketballers, that's why these guys are doing so well. The boxers make this. So I mean, why shouldn't the UFC fighters get
yeah.
it? And I'm
But
glad these guys are starting to speak up, because at
yeah,
the end of the day, there's no favors here. When their time is done and their light's about to go out, there's
yeah,
someone else comes in. And all you need to do is look at how they're not getting looked after. Look at, although Mark Coleman, Tim Sylvia was one of some of the beginners of this company,
yeah,
they held their company up. They're the founders of this company. They held
yeah,
this company up, and look how they got to go and pay for their shit now. They got to go and GoFundMe to pay for their operations.
yeah,
What the
yeah,
fuck is wrong with that?
yeah,
That's the whole message right there, saying, hey, do you need to change your healthcare? Yeah, of course.
yeah,
Some of the champs like John Jones and Masvidal and Sakudas and Stipe, and they're saying, we want more money. Hey,
yeah. Well,
total.
we've got the UFC's obviously, they're a standalone, behemoth of a company now in fight sports. One championship is coming up, and they're really branching out, especially in the Asian market. And again, there's a lot of fighters, just trying everything to get onto the roster there. It's I think it comes down to, fighters fight, but they want to be showcased on the biggest stage. They want to show what they've got to everybody and leave a legacy. And like yourself, you've come from the, from nothing pretty much. And I'll
Yes.
hold up that book. If you haven't read that, guys, go and get it. It's on sale. Get it online. So there's a lot of good truths in there. But going back to what I was saying, fighters have such a need to get on those big stages. And a lot of them are fighters. They're not businessmen. They're not managed correctly. So they sign deals and they do deals that perhaps are not for the betterment of their long-term career. And I think now with a number of different organisations coming up and trying to battle for talent, it could even things up a little bit. But it's still, I think it's a long way off being that, big paydays or the the percentages and all that. I don't know if that's going to happen in the time when we'll see it, Mark. I don't know. What do you think?
I think so. I think this lawsuit's going to change everything.
Yeah,
It's a massive lawsuit that they'll win, and once this comes to pass, then we're going to see how much money these guys. Because the truth is, a fighter goes into this company not knowing what he should be getting, because
yeah,
the company doesn't show what he should be getting. There's no transparency in the company. They're not even employees. They're subcontractors. None of them can go in there. Okay, I know what my worth is because the market show, because the UFC can show that, but they can't show.
yeah.
They don't show it. None of their stuff's coming up. It's only coming up through the court case.
Look, yeah, guys. Now, New Zealand. The boys that elite kickboxing and with Eugene and all those guys and Australia. Guys like Jimmy Crude. It's a real hotbed of talent down under. Australia, New Zealand. So, what do you think is for I suppose per capita? We're producing a lot of high caliber fighters. Why do you think that is? What's setting us apart so much in the fight game?
Because we're just talented from down under. That's how we are.
Yeah,
We're born fighters. I mean, coming as the underdog, we're always born fighters. I think there's a history of the whole lot of it, of us proving that. Trying to get on the big stage. All we got to do now is just get over the hump of making a legit money, proper money,
Yeah,
because like I said, I don't come in from a position of from the couch speaking this. I've come from experience. I've come from being in this company,
yeah,
come out of this company, seeing the money. Where I used to think $50,000 was a lot of money to make for kickboxing, or
yeah,
100,000 or 500. It's not.
yeah.
It's a
Well,
lot
that's
of. It's a.
going
It's a
back to the days of Pride and K1. I mean, how do you compare the pay scales from then? You know, in relation to what's happening now.
well, that's what I'm saying. The funny thing is, you could make $500,000 in kickboxing days then, as to you could have to make that shit now. Why? It's like 20 years later,
Yeah,
and why aren't we making 5, 6 million, $10 million for fight?
yeah.
I mean,
For the A grade, the A class main
for the
eventers and
A-listers, yeah,
finers. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I
Do you
mean, of
think
course,
what about for the starters? I mean, you know, we're talking about the elites, the guys that are the names that are on the pay-per-view posters that get people buying the pay-per-views. But what about the guys coming up? I mean, I speak as a promoter as well. So,
yes,
you know,
correct.
I get it that, you know, it's a business that you've got to manage. And
Yep.
not everyone can get $5 million because then you're going to have kids
Yes.
that are going to have their first fight going, I want $1 million to fight. And that's just not
Well,
realistic
that's
either. There's
well,
got to be
we
some
know.
reality to it all.
Well, that's where the Alia comes into pass, where he goes to get that sort of money. You've got to be the champion. You only can
Yeah,
see. I mean, the beginners aren't going to get close to that because they're coming.
yeah,
I mean, for $2,000, some of those guys got what, $2,000 to start with. I mean, fighting. I mean, okay, when you make the top 10, there should be brackets where you get higher and higher. When you're in the
yeah,
top 10, and then you get into the top 5, and you're fighting for the
yeah.
elite. Of course,
So it's
I
all about
understand.
the rankings and the seeding.
Yeah, of course, I
Yeah,
understand, and there's so many excuses and reasons why the promoter will say, "Oh, we've got to pay for this, this, and that." But there's no transparency. We all know where the money is going. If you show us where it's going, we can see where it's going. We
yeah,
understand.
yeah,
Just like
yeah, yeah.
I've like I said, I've come from this side and I know how it works.
You make it. Some of the stuff I've seen, and I say this to you as my mate. You really go hard at Dana White, like you've got a real thing.
I don't.
But is it all about him, or is it like there's got to be a board? There's a whole hierarchical, you know,
Well,
element
of
of,
course,
you know, of that business that would be all a part of the decision making, not just Dana. Dana's a
I,
figurehead. He's just
I get that, but
yeah,
that's the thing though. When they put that guy as the boss in front, that's the guy you talk to, because the
yeah,
other guys behind him are sitting there going, "Okay, you go tell him this." I know how
yeah,
it works. I talked to all these guys before. I
yeah,
talked to the Fertitas and Lorenzo, and then before we argued the deal, we made a deal before they reneged on the deal, and
yeah,
they thought I was going to back down. I don't back down to these guys because these guys, and that's why they find it hard to deal with me because I'm not going to let them screw me over. Because
yeah,
I understand what you're doing. I mean, it's not. They talk about it's hard to deal with me. No, it's not hard. I understand. I want it to be fair.
yeah. You
If
just,
if,
I
if you
suppose
were fair,
I suppose
if you
sometimes
were
given
yeah,
the hard, you know, the hard chat and the getting straight to the point and being, you know, being sort of direct is not always for some people. They find that very confronting, though. Do you get?
yeah, but I understand it. But I can see what you're trying to do. I can
Yeah,
see what they and them are trying to do.
yeah,
They're trying to get the best deal, and I'm trying to get the best deal. I'm not hard
yeah,
to deal with. I want it to be fair.
yeah, yeah. Sure.
If you know what I mean. So
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not gonna go and let them screw me up the ass without fucking lube, or even with lube.
yeah,
It doesn't work like that. I've been through the ringer too much times, and it should be fair. And that's why I'm saying. That's why I say these guys that are dealing with him now, like John Jones and all these guys, they're having a hard time dealing with it because
yeah,
they can't understand why the whole planet knows their name, yet they can't get the Bentley or whatever the fuck it is. All
yeah,
they're
yeah,
getting right now is the fucking Toyota. Well, I'm not
yeah,
trying
yeah.
to, if
That's
you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, it all. I mean, a lot of the stuff with the negotiations and the backwards, it sort of all plays a little bit to the theatre that is the UFC. You know, the UFC, you know, is a fight company, but in some ways it has traits of almost like the WWE. You know, where they build the hype and you know they
Well,
get the athletes revved up and stuff.
they work together though.
Yeah, if the offer was right, I mean, you know, everyone in life has fights. You fight with the people you love most. You know, you're married. You have kids. You have arguments with your kids. You have arguments with your wife at times. Doesn't mean you don't love each other, but it just means at that point you're having an argument and you got to sort it out. So at this
Yeah, the
point,
difference
you
with
and
there,
the
the difference
UFC
here with
are
that.
arguing.
No, the difference here with that is they don't only do it to me. They've done it
Yeah,
throughout history to many, many, many fighters.
yeah.
Not just me.
If it could be
They've,
if it could be mended, would you? I mean, this is very theoretical. You know, this is a bit
Can I
theoretical,
tell
but
you? Yeah. Well, look, we tried to mend this so many times through
yeah,
the situation. When I dropped the lawsuit on them, the time with the last guy, they forced me to fight. They forced me to fight against
yeah,
the Alistair Overeem. They forced me to fight. I said I don't want to do it unless you put the clause in. They said no, we'll fire you unless you fight this fight. And so I'm like, you motherfuckers, you want to fire me for what? For not
yeah,
fighting a guy that's cheating? Okay, so the only way this can be mended, and I said this today, and I said, look, with Brock and all the guys, I said, look, just take off his funds. I don't want him to earn a cent. Just don't give it to me. Just a cheater shouldn't make money.
yeah.
But they said no. We've honored our contract with Brock Lesnar and go fuck yourself, pretty much. And I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, okay, all I wanted was a fair fight. I never got that in UFC because all they did was promote cheaters. That's
Well,
all they ever did.
that's the whole thing of steroid use or growth hormones. Sometimes there's even growth hormones. There's certain elements of that can't be detected. Fighters can take growth and can be disguised and not picked up in the testing. Some of the testing is very complete. There's ways and ways, as we know, to manipulate the system. It always has been.
At the,
It probably
at
always
the,
will be.
at the end of the day, Mark, that's all they did. They just
Yeah,
promoted and through. It's not just me. They did this too. They've done this throughout history, and as you can see, it's getting to a point where all the fighters are going, I don't want this. I want more money. I want this, but they don't. They won't get it. So these guys
yeah,
that are arguing about money, they're not going to come to a deal. Unless they come to a deal, they're going to be quiet. If they're
yeah,
not going to come to a deal, they're going to be benched.
yeah.
They're not
They
going
go.
to keep
They move
working for
on
the
to
next
the
2 years.
next. Yeah, yeah,
They won't be able to fight and won't earn money for the next 2 years. So whatever you think is going to happen, I can tell you right now what happened. They're going to bench them, not make no money. Someone else is going to come in place, and they're going to sit those guys out and starve them out like they try to do to me.
give them a
Okay,
penalty. Yeah,
that's what their contracts are doing. So when you sign your contract, they're going to screw you.
yeah,
The contracts aren't for yourself; they're for them.
yeah. Well, let's shift gear for a moment. So, your training, as I said, I love it, man. I love watching you, getting out there in the mornings and going into cold water and still
Yeah, man.
having so much
Hey,
passion after so
40,
many years and so
40,
many damn injuries too. Yeah. So, what's on the horizon, man? Is there something happening there? Some little bit of boxing, maybe? What
yeah,
are we talking?
we're looking at getting back to work. I'm looking, like I said, I wanted to finish my career happy. I want to have
Yeah,
6 more fights. I got a fight coming up, I think. But my drive is amazing. I mean, at 46 years of age, I know
inspiration.
I could compete with some of these guys even easier.
Yeah, yeah,
And finishing my career happy is what I'm after. So,
yeah,
I've battled with some of the best in the world, and I'm still battling with them. I'm battling with the UFC at the moment in court.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's
It's just
life's a fight sometimes on
it's
many levels, isn't it?
it's an endless battle. There's like
Yeah,
it's from one battle to another, and the battle against the UFC is my most important battle. And I'm
yeah.
in 2 of them, 2 lawsuits
Yeah,
against
that's
these
true. Well, you're
guys.
preparing for two. So you're
No,
studying the legal
I'm
books when
actually
you're not throwing punches.
I'm in 2 lawsuits against them,
Yeah,
and all the UFC fighters that are actual part of the company. You can join this class action without even dropping a cent. It's
yeah,
important
yeah,
that you join it because you're subcontractors. You're not employees of this company. They don't look after your health
of
and
course.
safety when
Yeah,
you finish.
yeah,
So remember
yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly. So your advice to the young, I mean, the UFC, from a gym perspective, and I see that you've got your Live Well clubs now. How's that come about? How's that going for you, man?
Well, we're just kicking back off. Our first one in the mall just opened up, which is in the Eastern Creek Quarter, which is really good.
Yeah,
I've got some good partners that have just helped me. I mean, like I said, I've made a good choice with these partners, and Adrian and Bart are really good guys. And I mean, the Live Well brand's good. There's other different avenues like the recovery side of it, which is really good.
yeah,
So, hopefully, it wasn't a good year not only for us but for everyone around the world. But
yeah.
yeah, hopefully the next 6 months we're going to run home really hard. We're going to go out
It's
100
tough
meters,
business,
man. We're
man.
going to run hard.
uh,
I'm excited because I think it's really exciting times for not just me but for everybody in this world that's alive because you'll never see this sort of shit happen again.
yeah, it's
It's
we've going through the hard times, like and you've got your kids and Noah, a young boy coming up too. Man, they live they've lived a very the world's changed, social media, all the rest of it. It's a very different time now from 20 when we grew up, for example.
Yes.
You
I
had to
can't
fight.
believe, dude. I'm single at 46 years of age. I mean, but it's so funny to be out. And I mean, I join some of these fucking dating sites, and I'm like, this fuck, and all the messages I get, like, I mean, the messages I get from all the girls, like, can we FaceTime because they want to see if it's really me? It's crazy. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
I can't believe this is crazy. And I'm
Man,
like,
I can't imagine what it'd be like to be getting on that shit. Like, it's
and
just
some of
like,
them just say, oh, I'm not even good enough to have a coffee. I'm like, you don't want to have a coffee with me? What the fuck? What's wrong with you?
Jesus, man. Well, that's a whole new world that you got to get acclimatized to now. How you doing, man? Like, I've been through a couple of marriages, so I know it can be tough times, and it does. In spite of everything that happens in your business life, your personal life can really impact on everything. How you
Oh, it
holding
does.
up, man?
It does. It does. But me and Jules have split up for like we've been together like 26 years.
Yeah, long
But we
time.
yeah, we're actually a little bit earlier. But we split up. But we're still best mates because we have children, and
Yeah,
I think he's much more happy. I mean, I've had a pretty colorful life, and it's hard for any normal person to deal with someone with such a fucked up brain as
yeah.
me. Even though I seem normal, but my partner can tell you there's a whole lot of stuff
That's a whole other side,
that's
bro.
not
Yeah.
normal. And
I think
I
I
think
think we all have that, yeah. Like, and the one thing that going through separations, and I've got many friends and myself have gone through it, is when the kids start to get used as
yeah,
like collateral. You know what I mean? No, you're not seeing the kid if I don't get this money or that happens or this happens. And the parents out there, they've got to realize that time goes on, and what you do with the kids, you can't use them and manipulate
yeah,
children to leverage off a position in a
yeah,
broken down relationship, because
yeah,
the kids will suffer with that shit. So do the
yeah.
right thing, with the
Do the
kids,
right thing.
because that's a whole life that you can't be playing with. So
Yeah, I
it's
know.
good. I'm
My
really
wife,
glad that you're still having your quality time with your children, and you
of
amicable.
course,
It's
my
important.
my my ex said to me, Mark, I'd rather be from a broken home instead of in a broken home. So me and her
Yeah,
are always going to be best friends for the kids. And she isn't like that about money or anything. I mean, we're together, and we've got all our businesses together, which is everything. So
yeah.
it's one of those things that it's a life experience that everyone goes through. It's not easy, but it is what it is. And like you said,
And
you always come to the other side better person.
I think as well, one thing whenever life's thrown me challenges, be it relationships or work or whatever, the training has always been like my salvation a bit. It's always been my active meditation. Doesn't matter how many problems I've got. I had a bad day, I go and train, and for 1 or 2 hours I forget everything and I come reinvigorated. Are you finding that yourself now with your training?
Hell yeah, man! I'm training like I'm a young person. I mean, fuck, I
Yeah,
get up,
I see it. I see it.
run 10Ks. I'm working. I'm here helping Bam with his training before he goes to join DC and them. I mean, it's for me, it's like another reinvention to fighting. It's like I got that spirit back and that love
Yeah,
back for what I do, and I'm like, thank fucking God for that. I mean, I
yeah,
fucking hate the UFC for fucking stealing that from me and trying to ruin it, especially at the top of my game, and then to deal with that shit.
yeah.
What's so happy about it now is like I'm restarting it, and this is the ending chapter for my account. The ending chapter, which is
Yeah.
great. And
Would you
you know,
would you ever consider going from fighter to promoter?
well,
Because obviously that would give you a chance to actually put into action, your theories on fight promoting and stuff. Then,
look, man, I promoted two shows here in my home. I promoted two
yeah,
shows in Australia. I had the Pride franchise. I
yeah,
did two shows, and my second show, I brought the Pride bosses out to try and get a
yeah.
connection and link
Little
with all
while.
the
Would you do
fighters
it
to
now
go
though?
there.
Like in this,
Of
would
course, if I had the funds, just waiting for my
yeah,
lawsuit, and of course, would run our
yeah,
own shows. Of course, I'll do it. It's just I know how the whole business works. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not gonna say. I mean, like I said, I've come from promotions, and I've seen how the UFC do their promotions, and I know as a fighter, it's not good.
yeah. And advice to young guys, they're in the gym, they all aspiring to be that elite athlete.
Yeah.
What's a word of advice you'd give them,
Well,
or
look,
a nugget of advice?
if you haven't had a fight and fighting is what you want to be doing for the rest of your life, have
Yeah,
at least 5 fights. Have at least 5 or 10 fights just to see if it's for you. Because fighting, if you consider fighting as a circle, and you could be a square, you don't fit. It's just
yeah,
that's the way I
yeah,
see it. And I mean, look at the future. Try and look at the future. Look at the champions of the company.
yeah.
If you want to be a UFC fighter, look at the champions and how they carry themselves. Look what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Right
at
now,
the end of the day as well, you know, guys, there's fighters. What sets a fighter, a great fighter, apart from an average fighter? It really is the commitment and the drive. And I think if you've got two men the same weight, the same physical strength, roughly the same height, and the same conditioning, who's going to win that fight? It's always going to come down to the one with a stronger resolve, and this is the biggest weapon you can have. And I think you're time and time again in your career, from the start, everyone sort of was, you were under the radar, and then bang, just started taking all the names, taking names as you walk through them, with K1 and just upsetting the whole party. A lot of times you'd go in and do the upset, but that was, for me, sitting there commentating and watching you, I'd be like, it's just the mental strength, was a huge attribute to your success. And I think now even with this whole UFC thing, I can see you're so driven. It's like you ain't giving up until the end. One way or the other. You're going to get knocked out. One or the other.
I did a post, and like I said, a woman said, and she didn't know who I was. She asked me, if I was driven in my life and career, and I'm thinking, fuck. And then she said, I can't believe I just asked Mark Hunt because she can't believe she asked me that if I was one of the most driven men in the world about my shit. And I'm thinking, I'm 46 years of age, and I'm still going into one of the hardest work arenas in the world, and I'm still going strong. And I think I'm better than a lot of these fuckers these days, because I just think that, like you said, the mental resolve. If you start in the fire, man, it's nothing. You just got to work hard and get back to that place. If the mind is right,
it carries over to everything in life too. Really,
correct.
you
Not
go
just
for
fighting,
a job, you've got to want
everything.
it. You've got to want everything with it. No second option. Honestly.
No shortcuts.
Yeah, exactly.
No steroids,
Exactly.
guys. No shortcuts.
and I was going to say, with the training you're doing now, do you find yourself training alongside the guys and also coaching them, like sharing all that knowledge? Because you got a wealth of knowledge, man. Like, you can see things that others can't. Do you like to coach and be instructing?
I won't coach anyone. I mean, I until because coaching's hard, man. It's so hard because you have to be a part of their lives. I mean, everything. You become their friends, you become their dads, their brothers.
That's right.
It's so hard. I mean, I don't have the time for that. I'm just trying to barely get my life in track. Being a coach, it's so freaking hard. I mean, if I'm training with guys, I give them advice. With different people, I give advice. But as a coach, man, I don't think I just have to focus on myself just to finish my career. Because being a coach is so hard, because you got to, man, you bring them in your flock, into your fold, man. You're the captain of the leader. You have to bring everyone in, and you have to help them, not just in the gym, outside the gym, everywhere. And I find that hard, man. I find that really hard. I can't do that, man. So not now, anyway. So when my career is done, I think I'll do that.
But with the training, I'm seeing the training like next level. How's the nutrition going, man? Are we still hitting the KFC, or what are you doing there? Because you're looking good.
Nah, no more KFC.
Are you paying attention with all that stuff too now?
Well, that's 80% of the problem, though. I did my whole career, a lot of my career, eating badly, and I paid the price for that with a lot of fights. So the worst one was Stipe Miocic in Adelaide, with the 11 kilos I had to do a couple of days before the fight. That was really hard. I got punished for that. Mexico was 3.5 weeks, 21 kilograms. That was quite hard. I got kneed in the face by that cheating monkey, Fabricio Verdum. But my nutrition's on point now. So like I said, I want to finish with a bang. I want to finish with 6 wins, and hopefully an MMA world title, and then that's it. So my nutrition's on point. I've been eating good. I've been training hard, and being up here with Rich and Rob.
It's a whole science now. Like training's a whole. It's not like, I think when you kicked off, it was like just get in and throw punches, and there wasn't a lot of science to the training going. Back in the day, it really was the strongest survived. But now there's so much science in training and recovery and nutrition and mind. Obviously mental strength. Motivational sort of programming and all the rest of it. It's just a whole science, the sport now, as opposed to what it was early K1 days.
Well, it's evolved. Yeah, it's evolved. Just like everything else in the world, everything's evolved. And what people thought MMA was before, now realize it's the most complete sport in the world, and martial arts. People thought before, when we started, like, what are these two fuckers rolling around the ground for? Well, that's called jiu-jitsu and wrestling. That's what I can. I was like, oh man, you don't understand it until you actually try it. Then you'll understand that it's not the same thing.
Yeah,
It's so hard, and MMA is a complete sport. They're
yeah,
both
yeah.
complete sport, especially for any martial arts or combat sport. So yeah, nutrition is a big part of it, and everyone knows that. And I feel, I mean, you can train as hard as you want, but if you're eating KFC like I used to, you're not going to get that ripped body.
Not that that's ever stopped you.
Wow, yeah, of course.
But man, it's been an absolute pleasure, man, to talk to you. As I said, I'll just hold the book up one more time. So if you haven't got this book, guys, go out and get it. It's going to tell you a lot about the man that I'm talking to right now. He's an absolute legend, and I've been in this sport a long time. I know a lot of people. I still talk to guys like Ernesto Hoost on Insta, and some of the legends, man, of the sport. Sammy Greco's still out there doing it. You do it for life. You do it for life. You do it for the love.
Yep.
And the friendships that you make along the way, that's been my greatest thing. So thank you for all the years of support, bro.
No worries, Mark. Also, thanks for having me on the show. Also, there's one other book if you're a reader, not just my book. Ben also wrote another book called Songs of a War Boy. Now that's a different level of fight. We've got our levels. You guys can probably appreciate my level of fighting, but there's on another level, Songs of a War Boy. I mean, Deng is an amazing man. He's done such a beautiful job as a child soldier, from where he was to where he is today. I mean, he got nominated 2 years, I think, for Australian of the Year. Yeah. But please go check that out if you're a reader. Check his book out.
Maybe put it up on your Insta if you've got a copy of it. Put it up there because I'm sure people will want to see what the cover looks like and what it is. Yep. So
I've already put it up on Insta before. Yeah.
Yeah, we just chuck it up and man, it's been a pleasure, man. I'm still looking at your training and I'm being inspired myself at what you're doing.
Hey, man. The old dog's still going.
To Melbourne when we're not coronaed all out, man. You got to
hey, man, I can't believe the old dog's still going. I feel so much more stronger than I have ever been. My mind is super fucking strong, and now the body's getting to that point. By October, oh man, I feel sorry for whoever wants to party with this. They're gonna be like, oh damn, and it's all a testament to the guys I'm working with. Bam, I got fucking Charles, big. You like that, Charles? Big Charles. I mean. And Rich Fogarty and Rob Fogarty, the guys at Steel City, bro, amazing guys. And it's been a blessing to come and work with them. It's just because like I said, I don't work with guys that I don't get along with. These guys are just amazing to work with.
They're good. I'll travel to Vegas with the boys and that, and we have a blast, and they love it, man. They love it.
They're going. These guys, this Newcastle folk are losing them to you guys in Melbourne. You guys are going to have everyone down there.
But no, man, it's good to see all the friends working together, all the brothers. You take care of yourself, man. And
well, good to chat to you, Mark.
We'll do it again. We'll do it again, man. Any updates? Maybe we'll do another chat. Much
love,
brother.
Take it easy, man. Thanks.
You too. Take care. Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye bye.